I am Dr. Balasubramanian Tyagarajan. Today, in our continuing lecture on Scribus, let us see how we can import images into Scribus, how to manipulate these images, and how to add special features to these images when we work on Scribus. As I have been repeatedly telling, you cannot directly copy and paste any resource into Scribus. We need a placeholder, and for image placeholder you need to create a image frame. So image frame can be created by multiple ways. For example, this is the toolbar. So here is the toolbar which is designed to create an image frame. As soon as the image frame toolbar is clicked, the cursor takes the plus sign and a small icon of image gets attached to the cursor. You can draw a image frame. This is one way of creating a empty image frame. If the image frame is empty, two black cross marks can be seen. Black cross mark indicates the image has not been imported into the image frame. Another way of creating image frame is to go to the menu bar, insert image frame. This is another way of importing an image. And now, to get an image into this frame, all one needs to do is double click and just choose the image, click OK. So now what has happened is the image has been imported into the image frame. But the problem is the frame and the image has a mismatch. The image is not completely filling the frame. So what can be done is, first thing we need to do is to center the image, and the size of the frame can be adjusted by pulling at these handles. The moment you keep the cursor in this handle, it takes the form of double arrow. By dragging the double arrow, the image frame can be increased or decreased. It can be done at the angles. It can be done individually in the horizontal axis as well as in the vertical axis. If you use the small red dot at the edges of the image frame, this proportionally increases the size of the image frame. That is, both horizontal and vertical sizes gets proportionally increased, so that the default shape, that is the rectangle, is maintained. Whereas if you use these red dots in the center of the frame, this will increase the vertical height. Or if you use the center red dot in the vertical frame, you just pull it, it increases the horizontal dimension of the image frame. After importing the image, we find that the image is not a perfect fit into the image frame. So now let us click on the image, select the image, and we can, by dragging the image inside the frame, we can center the image in such a way that it is fully displayed. And then there's another option. You can double click to select the frame and slightly enlarge the dimensions of the frame so that the image will fit into the frame. This is one possibility. Now the image is fully centered and fitted, but the frame has become large because the dimensions of the image is not a perfect rectangle. So there are other ways of handling these images. So let us go right click on the image frame, go to properties. As soon as you go to properties, it opens the properties window. The properties window job, you can go to the image frame. So in the properties window, this image frame name has been given as image 4. You can change the name to anything you want, because at a later date, if you want to edit the image, it is easy to know which frame you're working in. Supposing you would have created 100 or 200 pages of the document, you know which frame you want to work on it, but by default it just gives the image followed by a number. So this is the name of the frame which we are going to edit. Now the frame is selected, so you see the red square with the anchors, so roughly around on all the edges and all the sides. So this red line indicates the frame is chosen for editing. So now going to the geometry, you can increase the x-axis. Say what happens if I increase this value, so it just moves, the entire frame moves horizontally. So now I decrease the x-pos, the entire frame moves to the left and this moves to the right. So the up and down arrow clicks will enable the frame along with the content to be moved inside the canvas to the left and right. Now let us go to the y-pos. So here I am going to increase the vertical position. When I increase the y-pos, the frame moves downwards. When I decrease the y-pos, the frame moves upwards. And then the width of the frame, I am talking only about the frame. I stress, we are not doing anything with the image, we are now manipulating the frame. The frame is chosen for edit. Now there is the width and the height. Supposing you want to increase or decrease the width alone, you can do this by clicking this. But the thing is, here there is a link box. If you link it, what happens when you attempt to increase the width, the height also will proportionally increase. For example, let us see what happens. So I have clicked the link here, joined it together, and to ensure that the aspect ratio is kept. So now what happens if I increase the frame increases in all directions proportionally. If I decrease the size of the frame decreases in all directions. Now I'll unlink both these boxes. Now if I do this, what happens is, if I increase the width alone increases. I am decreasing the width. Now let us do the same thing with the height. I can increase the height independent of the width, decrease the height independent of the width. And then there is something called rotation. You can rotate the image frame by increasing the angle. Here you should remember, when the image frame rotates, it rotates along with its contents. I repeat again, when the image frame is made to rotate, it rotates along with the contents inside. So we have managed to rotate the image frame by 6 degrees. You will always have the choice of typing the degree inside this box and making it and applying the same rotation. So now let us choose the image frame. So the base point can be changed. Now let us see what happens if I change the base point. So here, and now when you change the base point, the rotation also changes. See, when the base point is here, see the rotation, it rotates around this. Supposing if the base point is here, it will rotate around this axis. You watch. So this is going to be the base point for rotation. If I increase angle, it rotates around that axis. I will make it straight. Now I am going to use this as a base point. Now when I attempt to rotate, it rotates around this axis. Similarly, you can choose this base point, and if you increase, so what happens? It rotates around this axis. So you have the choice of choosing the base point and rotating the axis according to the base point. So now you can say, now let us keep it center, see what happens. So it rotates along the center. See, beautifully it rotates along the center. So by choosing the base point, you can choose the point of rotation, can be easily chosen. So the default happens to be, it is ideal to set the base point before you start embarking on the process of rotation. I stress again, when you attempt to rotate the image frame along with the contents, when you rotate the image frame, if it has contents inside, the contents also will simultaneously rotate. So now you can move the frame to the right and left, and then you can move the frame up and down by manipulating the XPOS values, and then you can enlarge or make the image smaller, enlarge this image by increasing the height, increasing the width. Similarly, you can increase the width and the height of the image frame. All these things are possible by using the height and width. You can couple them. If you couple them, the enlargement process will be proportional. If you don't couple them, the enlargement process will be separate. The height alone can be enlarged without tampering the width. So that is also a possibility. Now you can change the level of the selected frame. Suppose you can change the level, bring it down. Suppose, what do you mean by level? Number of objects will be placed inside a canvas, and the first object, when you place, it's called the first level, and the fifth object will be the fifth level. So now you can reduce the level, increase the level, decrease the level. So these things are possible by increasing or decreasing the level. And then you can flip the entire picture horizontally. This alone works with only with the image. So this is a vertical flip. So this again are the ways in which you can manipulate. Now I am going to do individual manipulation of the image file. So now we are going to tamper only with the image file. So supposing I want to move the image within the frame, say in the x-axis, let us see what happens. So I am able to move it by clicking the up arrow. Now I will be moving it to the left by clicking the down arrow. Now if I am going to manipulate to move downwards within the frame, I just click the up arrow in the Y pass, or if I click the down arrow, it moves up. It is just the opposite here. The scaling is also more or less the same, which we did for the text frame. We are going to do the scaling for image. So you can enlarge the dimension of the image in the horizontal axis by increasing the X scale like this, or you can enlarge the image vertically by increasing the Y scale. If you link this, if you enlarge the image, there will be a proportional enlargement, both horizontal as well as the vertical dimensions will be increased in a proportional manner. And here, this is actually the image pixels, horizontal, how many pixels per inch. This can also be adjusted by increasing this value. Supposing the more you increase the pixel, more compressed the image will look. See, if I am going to increase the dpi, decrease the dpi, this is what is happening. Now I can add effects to the image if I want by clicking to the image effects. So supposing I want to blur the image, apply the setting and it blurs the image. So I can then brightness, I can increase the brightness. If I want a tritone, I can increase the tritone. See what happens. Similarly, you can keep adding image effects. Posteriorize, see what's happening. So this is how you can enrich the quality of the image. So what we will do is we will remove the tritone and see what happens. It takes a color. So these are the possible image effects you can apply using the properties palette. So there is actually the profile. This tells us the sRBG display. The image color is in the sRBG display profile. So this is actually the color profile which the image is having. And now there's one thing called easy thing to do is you can scale this image to fit into the frame size, because the frame is slightly bigger than the image. You can, instead of tampering around with all these values, you just click this box. It scales the image to fit into the image frame in a proper dimension. Now still we feel that the frame is larger than the image. So how can we change it? So you can adjust frame to image, or you can adjust image to frame by going to the context menu. So since this image is not a perfect rectangle, there are stuff above and below the rectangle. This is difficult to accommodate within a rectangular box. So as we need to have a different dimension if you want to accommodate these images perfectly. And the next thing I want every one of you to know is you can add borders to this image. So how are we going to add borders? Before adding borders means adding a frame to the image, you need to insert a shape. So we will go to the default rectangular shape. We will ensure that the shape rectangle fills the entire text frame. Now we have added a shape to the image frame. Now let us go to the properties palette and let us go to shape. By using this shape, go to the line. You can choose the line. Say you can, with thickness of the line can be, see you as I adjust it adjusts, and then the line you can add to the thickness of the line. Say I am creating a nice frame for the image. Now let me add color to the frame. So I click the color, the outline choice, and then I will try out green, I'll try out blue, I'll try out this, I'll try out white, sorry, yellow. So this feels okay to me. I can adjust the opacity also if I want. That I need to do it in the image. So these are the possible manipulations of the image which we can carry out using the properties palette. Now we have a second image frame. We will import another image by clicking into the frame. But this image is too large. It is not getting displayed into the frame at all. Now let me select this image. When I select this image, this hand will come. I can move the image. The easiest way is to just adjust image to frame. Now the image has fitted into the frame. Now on right clicking, in the context menu you get the info bar. So info bar tells you, it gives you details pertaining to the image, the name of the file, the original actual displayed size of the image, actual size of the image, and the color space which is used to code the color, and then whether this image is printable or not. These details can be got by right clicking the image and going to the info. So that is one aspect of the image. So here let us see the name of the image is ear trumpet. So what we'll do is we'll go ahead and do a small exercise. We'll remove that image from the folder and replace and place it somewhere else. So it is actually ear trumpet. So you will see this image will be in hearing aids. This is going to be the image. Let me see. Yeah, this is the image. So what I will do is I'll cut the image and place it in my desktop. So the image is not available in the folder. Now see, now we will save the file. We will say hearing aid 1 and save. Now we will close the Scribus. We will reopen the Scribus and open the recent document we are working on. See what is happening. This is the page 1 page. See here, Scribus has attempted to locate the image, but it doesn't know that the image has been moved out of the folder. So this shows you that Scribus per se does not embed the image into its file. What it does is, as soon as the image is imported into the text box, it just creates a link, local link of the image. So the moment every time the document is opened by Scribus, it goes ahead and searches for the file as per the link which is saved in the Scribus. So since we have relocated the image, what has happened is the image cannot be seen by the Scribus. So it says, it just gives the name of the image and tells us that it is not able to find the image in the previous location. That is the point it indicates by putting a big red cross. So now what you can do is, you can go ahead and locate the image. So we'll go to extra, go to manage images. So manage images, this is where all the images in the document will be clearly displayed. So here, for example, it tells us the name of the image, it tells us the location of the image, it tells us the dimensions of the image, the scaling of the image, whether it can be printed, if it is going to be printed, what is going to be the point, and then it is going to tell us the format of the image, color space of the image, DPI of the image. All these things can be visualized from manage images window. Here, for example, again the next image, it gives the details, the next image, it gives the details. All these details can be seen. So here, if you click here, it says there is no image here. So now you have the option of searching for the image. So what we will do is, we will go ahead and change the location. Say we will point it, we have kept it in the, so we will select the folder and start the search. So now it has found a image having that name. It gives us the option of previewing the image. So now it shows us the image. So it asks us to verify whether this is the image which needs to be placed. If you give select, the image is promptly placed inside the image frame. So this exercise I have demonstrated just to let you know that images are not incorporated directly into the image frame, only the links are incorporated. So the best practice for anybody working on a Scribus document would be to save all the resource files in a single folder, and the Scribus file also should be saved in the same folder, so that this problem of loss of image does not occur. So this is, then next is something called image tools. So here you can export the image, make the image visible or invisible. You can edit the image. Say for example, if you want to edit the image, you can edit the image by using GIMP. If you have an editor, the GIMP opens, and GIMP will help you to edit the image. Image will be automatically loaded into GIMP. This is actually a Photoshop like open source image editing tool. So this will, on clicking the edit image, the GIMP software will open, display the image. As soon as you edit, you can save the file into the same folder. It will be displayed here. And then image effects, which I have already displayed, again it is also seen in the manage image folder. For example, if you want to sharpen the image, the radius, then value can change. Let us see what happens. So it has sharpened the image. So these things, manipulation can be done. So let us now close the image box, manage images box, and now, as I've been repeatedly stressing, that Scribus links the image to the image frame. It does not actually real-time places the image there. So if you want to move the Scribus file to another system, to another computer, to start working on it, the problem will be these image files also needs to be moved along with the Scribus file. So if you follow the best practice of creating a folder in the name of the document which you are working on, and place all the image resources, tables and all these things within that folder, and also save the Scribus file to the same folder, this entire folder's contents can be copied and moved to another computer, and this will definitely open in that computer provided Scribus is installed there. But within the software itself there is one more option which says go to file and collect for output. If you give collect for output and say give a directory, for example let us see hearing aid, and give a directory, give a OK, what it does is it will collect all the files including the images, all the resources, including the Scribus SLA file. It will place in that folder. All it needs to be done is that folder can be easily copied and shifted to another system if you feel like. Thank you for your patient listening.